SBU, real quick, we had a South African guy that calls into the channel. We've been talking about a lot of stuff about the white. Have I talked to you since about the white people that came over to America? I don't think I've talked to you since then. What do you think about these supposedly white refugees that have landed in America? And even though the photo they took looked like a whole bunch of people that came from a cruise, but what do you think about these white refugees from these farms? Go ahead, Mal.
Uh, Chaotic, that is a big subject. I think I'm going to do a show on that. Now, listen,
I would love to be on that show with you because I think it's bullshit. But anyway, go ahead.
yeah, and the president of South Africa is actually meeting with Trump today. So I'm sure they're going to talk about all of that. Now, first thing is, I don't think that they meet the requirements to be called refugees, but I do think the United States is going to show them a whole different type of life, and it'll be interesting. But another thing too, now listen, I haven't been here that long, so I don't know everything, but I haven't heard of any genocide or any farmers being deleted. I see those crosses for all those Afrikaans that have been deleted, but I have no idea where that is. I'm not saying it is not real. Now, I could have, that's something that could have happened during apartheid time or during the time of war, because, there was wars against the Zulus and everything way back. So I don't know when that transpired. I don't know when that is, but I've heard there hasn't been a farmer that has been unalived in over 10 years. So I don't know what they talking about. So I happen to think that these people just wanted to come to America and they filled out that application. And the other thing too is if indeed they were farmers, but I'm understanding that you didn't have to necessarily be a farmer to be able to become a refugee. I think it's anybody who said that they were afraid or nervous or whatever, felt like they were unsafe, I suppose, but they needed to be Afrikaans or Afrikaners. I just think a lot of people just took them up on the idea and just said, okay, I'm gone. I don't know. I haven't seen that. But the thing is, if they are farmers, then the farmland should be free for, the blacks, the Africans that are here to take over. And I don't think there's any available farmland for that. So that is interesting to me. I don't know what they're doing. I have not seen. Listen, on my channel, the Afrikaans or Afrikaners be tuning in all the time. They feel just as safe to say whatever they want, just like anybody else. I mean, you talk to the ones that are here, they're safe. They like, look, I'm at home. I ain't going nowhere. But I do know that there's a political party out there that does have a little chant that, kill the boar, kill the farmer. The EFF, I wasn't really going to call no names. But anyway.
Oh, yeah, I know you can't say it, but yeah. Are you and your husband allowed to be in the ANC?
No, we're not. Even when we get our citizenship, we will not be allowed to vote. So we'll be on the outside looking in. But yeah, so you know what, CT, I think this is kind of unreal. Yeah. Now, I would love to be there when Ramsphosa says to him, that's not true. And then he turns to him and say, yes, it is. So, I don't know how that conversation is going to play out. It's just, I haven't seen it. I haven't heard it. Now, I got to be honest with you. A lot of South Africans and neighboring countries, they're killing each other. But I haven't seen or heard about any Afrikaners being deleted.
There you have it. Now, Rahotep, here we have it.
I haven't heard it.
There we have it.
So.
No, I'm just saying, man. I was on your side when it comes to that, man. I think a lot of this stuff is propaganda, man. You can never convince 50 white people are refugees. I'm sorry, 50 white people.
It's a straight up psyops. I mean,
and you know what though? It's more than that though. It's not 50. I want to say it was 70,000 that fill out that application, or it was a large number. Yeah. So it's not
about 8,000 came to America.
It's not going to be done. This is not the end of it. I don't know I know what they say the qualifications are, but I just need y'all to pay attention. I mean, I think we've called this out about a year a year ago that you need to start paying attention because things are happening. And I think this is just one of those things that a way to show you that things are definitely happening and changing. So I really don't know what the purpose is going to be for them to be there. Like I said, if they're farmers and they're leaving their farms, I mean, then that would be a perfect situation for Africans to come in, Black Africans to come in and just take it over and continue to maintain it or what have you. But that's not the situation. So I don't know. I want to see how it plays out. I don't care if they come over there actually, but I'm saying if you're going to offer something to a group of people or to a country, just let's say South Africans or let's say farmers, there are Black farmers, there are colored farmers, there are white farmers, there are all types of farmers here in South Africa, all types.
What's up, bro?
If there is a problem about their land being taken by the government, which that is what started and kicked this off, their land being taken by the government without any compensation, that would be anybody who is a farmer. Right. Now, as far as it being safe or unsafe in South Africa, there are problems in South Africa, just like anywhere else. There is crimes that go on, just like anywhere else. So to pull one group aside and say, you can come to America because it's safe here for you, because these people are threatening you to take your land, or because the president is threatening to take your land without compensation, that would be incorrect. That would be a bad thing to do, because what are you doing? That's kind of
for the last 3 years. What were they saying for the last 3 years?
That's what I'm
just anybody come in here.
No, you're talking about in America. I'm saying to you, I'm talking about the 49 coming there. I don't know. Well, from what my understanding is, Biden and Kamala have opened up the borders and said, come on over, looking for a better way of life. That's what was said. If that's what they did, then if that's what the presidents at the time were allowing, then that was okay. That's what they did. The one that's in place now says it's not okay. It's too many of you all. We've been taking care of you all. You know what, though? Let me say this. I've seen some people that in the United States right now, been there 30 years. They have had a long time to get their credentials in order. We've been taking care of them for 30 plus years. That's not fair. That's not fair.
That's
so
exactly what I'm
getting. They need to go back. They need to take them back.
Well, I'm just the reason why I'm making the situation known about, or what I know about the 49, is because I don't know, or I haven't seen any white genocide that is going on in South Africa at this present time. Now, again, they had many wars. People have been fighting over land for a very long time. I have heard of farmers being unalived. I have heard of that, but at this current time, I have not heard of that, have not seen that. We dwell with afrikaners and everybody else all the time. There's a lot of black on black crime, but I haven't seen or heard anything from afrikaners. Now, it could be a secret. It could be something. I can't imagine the news keeping that secret, because they tell everything over here. The news is real. I mean, very, very real. They take you up close and personal. But, so to say that this is, and then again, like I said, farmers, if that goes for farmers, because they're going to have a hard time living their lives, and it would be to all farmers. There are a lot of colored farmers. There are a lot of black farmers. Why wouldn't you extend that to all of them? If indeed, this is going to be a problem.
I kind of want to keep on the same subject, but off. What do you think about Ibrahim Traore? Like, does his name ring bells in South Africa?
Yeah, everybody is definitely rooting him on, because he has he's taken a stand. He's a young man, and he said, listen, this is how Africa, the continent, this is how this should be run, because we don't need all these other people, all these other countries in our business. And I'm gonna be the example. So everyone should do what I do. So get out of my country. We have everything we need here, and we do. And we need to find out how we can, make Africa, the continent, the best it can be. And he's doing that. He's putting roads in. He's went and bought airplanes. He's building houses. He's doing all of that. So he's doing this thing. But you notice that they are continuously trying to assassinate that young man also. So that's I think I've heard some terrible things. I'm not going to repeat that, but I think most people would like Africa to just stay the way that it is now. But I just think that it's not going to stay the way that it is now. There are a lot of people like myself that have come over, and we have applied for our citizenships. And, we're going to do what we have to do to get them. And we're going to be good. And it's a lot of us, as the numbers are not, it's a lot of us considering. But, I don't know why we're here, but we're here for a purpose, and we're going to be on the right side of it. I've heard someone say that the president and the government doesn't put their people first. Yeah. I think that is a major problem. If they did that, you wouldn't. South Africa would be the place to be for everyone. And then I would be like, oh, no, go back to America. Yeah. It's enough of us. Yeah. I'd probably be sitting saying that. Go back. It's enough. No, I'm just kidding. I just think everyone should. I just want everyone to know that this Africa, the continent that is painted in the United States, it's not everything in Africa. Everything in Africa is not what you see. It's just not that way. Now, don't get me wrong. You have the Congo and a lot of other places that I would say you wouldn't want to live. You just wouldn't. But if you ever visited South Africa, listen, I had a girlfriend and her husband come over. They came on the 3rd, and we had a perfect 10 days, and we went everywhere. We went to Cape Town. We did so many things, and the videos are out there. They're coming out, here and there, but we had such a good time. And I just think that not enough people know that this South Africa actually exists. I think it's always load shedding, dirty water, or some, things of that nature. And, although in some places that may exist, that's not the story for South Africa. It is not.
So if the EFF were to take over the government, would you stay? Would you and your husband stay?
Yes, we would. Now, let me just explain to you about the EFF. I would stay because even though he gets the crowd all stirred up and,
but that's a pro-black, that's a straight black, isn't that a straight black nationalist?
It is. Okay. It definitely is. But they still want the best for their people. And he still is fair. He still is fair in his conversation. You kind of get what I'm saying? He's still. Yeah, I've seen his interview. I don't know if he had all power, would he be fair?
Well, that's what I mean. If they had like all like the control of the government itself, like this.
Well, it wouldn't necessarily be that way anymore because you have the DA, and you know who the DA is, right?
No.
DA is the white people.
Oh, I didn't know that the whites had control at all. To be
honest. Well, they have. See, now it's different. It's different now. It's not just a one-off anymore. Even the ANC is not a one-off anymore. They have several political groups now, and they all play a small part or a big part in this.
It's not like when
democracy.
Okay.
You know how Barack Obama went to social media, and that's how he actually won. So he's kind of getting them young people stirred up by. I mean, I hate he's saying kill anybody because murder is wrong. But
yeah.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Yeah.
You said what is what?
Murder is wrong.
How about war?
It all depends. You got to protect yourself. You have to protect your country.
Oh, okay. So, all right.
So I believe if somebody came here to my home and in some way put my life and my husband's life in danger, we would definitely have to do what we have to do. I mean,
so you do believe in doing what you have to do, right?
Yes, I agree.
Okay. So
if that's what you have to do, yeah. But I wouldn't make a song about it though. I wouldn't walk down the street chanting. I wouldn't do that.
But propaganda is real. Propaganda
is definitely real.
I think that tip of the spear of Africa that due to the shipping routes and what's going on with military competition, with near predator competition with China, with ports and all of that, South Africa is very strategic. Very strategic. Yeah. Especially in a war scenario.
Yeah, great.
Mobile.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Dave. Go ahead, Dave.
No, that was it. I'm just doing it. I'm listening to her. This is great information.
Before
I didn't know she had moved to South Africa. I remember you a while back a while back. So to hear you say you in South Africa now and all this other different type of stuff and the smile on your face and all of that, like, yeah, it's good.
Go ahead, Dr. Chink.
Hi, SBU. Nice to meet you. I had a question about the land redistribution program in the mid '90s as a response to apartheid. It's been estimated, like in terms of some stats, I read this somewhere, that up to 90% of the land during our apartheid, which is 10% of South Africa's population, 90% of it was owned by whites, right? But after apartheid, wasn't there a program that said 30% of that 90% land is to be redistributed to Black South Africans? And, in terms of some of the barriers about the success of the yield and the crops, would you necessarily say that if this farmland had been redistributed to South Africans and the yield was low, should that 30% of the land be then reclaimed by the white people that originally owned the land to generate a profit and a yield?
No.
Well, let me say this. I don't know particularly of the exact bill that you're speaking of, but I've heard that there was some redistribution of land and it was actually given to Black farmers. And I'm just going to be honest with you. And, I don't know if this is totally true or not, but Black people don't farm. So if we're going to just be honest about it, I don't think many of them want to farm. There are some, but the numbers are very low. Now, to say that we're going to give it back to the original people, I can't say that is true, because if we go back, from my understanding, it was actually, of course, Black people that had it first. And, there is a town here, a whole township actually there's 3 of them, I think. But the one that is most famous is Orania. Orania is a town where there are no Blacks and they're not allowed. And the during apartheid, they said that they came in, they bought the land. They bought it from someone. I don't know who that someone is, but one of the leaders, one of the Afrikaner leaders, he actually did a interview, and he said in the interview that he bought the bus, but he didn't want the passengers. And it actually states in his interview, in this article, that they beat these people because what it was some land, and they were there. Black people had or living on the land. I'm not saying it was theirs, so they had purchased it, but they were living there because they had been there maybe from some mining or doing some other industrial work. So they were there. That job was over. So they had kind of, just put up informal housing. They were living there. And then someone came in, an Afrikaner came in and said, I'm going to buy this land. I don't know who he paid, maybe the government. And he kicked these people off. He beat these people and said, get out. So when you say farming Blacks, I really don't think, because being an Uber driver, talked about this before. Uber drivers are always so smart. He said to us this particular day that over here, I don't know if farming is very popular among Blacks. So whether they want the land for farming or not, I don't know. It could be for big business. I mean, you can put up a factory here. You could do several things. It doesn't necessarily have to be, quote, farm land. But so giving it back, I don't know. But when you take something, that has a whole different, effect.
They said in South Africa, in certain areas, that Black people is like the superiors and whites is like the inferiors. I was watching some shows on YouTube where they say Blacks is like living in they get like the better jobs, where the whites got like how it is here in America, where whites usually be the ones the top dogs and the Blacks be kind of like borderline making and surviving. They said in certain areas in South Africa, it's reversed. Well, the thing that is reversed is that Blacks are not the minority here. We are the majority. But as far as your money goes, it's different. Even though I would say Indians and Asians and whites are maybe 10% of the population, they still
control most of South Africa with their money, their wealth.
How does that
But there
make
are
you
some-
feel though? You there and you there.
It doesn't make me feel any kind of way. What it does, it encourages you to, because the wealth is here. The wealth is here. This is a very wealthy country. I can see it. And because I'm not a minority, then I know that there are opportunities out there that the federal government, or it's not federal government, that the government will actually extend to me that other people may not get. It's up to us to say, okay, let me take advantage of this opportunity. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I feel like you have been no place unless you visit the hood. So do they got the hood up there? Have you visited the hood?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Jay Prince, are you out of your
I got a
mind?
whole
He is
video.
kind of right though. I feel that way kind of too. Wherever I go, I still drive like a little through the say.
Hold on a second. Jay Prince, are you asking
Everybody's not privileged. I would consider security boss living in a privileged area compared to
I think the whole premise is that we don't realize. I think the whole premise is, if you don't mind me, Jay Prince, the whole premise is that we don't realize.
Hey, guys. Hey, security boss.
Yes.
This is incredible content. Did
Thank
Jay
you.
Prince just ask you, have you gone to the hood of South Africa? Does he not know anything about South Africa? A lot of South Africa is literally the hood.
I was assuming that he meant, well, just because it's the hood doesn't mean that I went there. I'm going to answer his question because not everything.
Hey, type for me, right?
Jay Prince, there's a lot of hoods.
In South
And
Africa.
yes, I have a whole video where we went to a hood, and it's one of the largest hoods in the world, actually. It's called Soweto.
Soweto. Yep, Soweto. Yep.
And I have a video coming out about that. To be honest with you, the people are very nice, very humble, but it's very humbling experience, and I was very sad.
The reason why I asked that question, because in order to know a place, how they really is, how the government, how the people really feel, or how they really are, by how they treat the people that's in the poor neighborhoods, right? So I was going to ask you, because that's when you get the real, like when you got a lot of money, everybody going to treat you like you shining nickel. But when you poor, do they got systems where, like the welfare system, do they feed all of their people and stuff like that?
Yes, it's called SASA. Yes, they do. They have that. They have welfare. They have SASA cards. There's like credit cards. They have money on it. They do. But Jay Prince, that's not enough to live off of. That's not enough to say that I'm actually living. I mean, it may do something, but more is needed. More is needed. But it's nothing like, let me tell you something. I think anybody that would complain about the United States needs to be shocked, needs to be tased or something, because you all, I would say in the lowest part or the lowest income bracket of the United States is privileged compared to what some places where these people have to actually live.
And that's the interesting part.
It's just real. It's real. But guess what though? We still are the minority, and we still represent 90%. Even the government represents 90% of South Africa. So we are in control. So what you think about that?
I like the way you put that.
No white man to blame. No white man to blame. We are in control.
It's becoming a crutch, always using that white man, huh?
Hey, Jay Prince, no white man to blame, Jay Prince. What about that?
No white man to blame.
It's a black government, bro.
See, do you think Africa is like on a grind? Like when you say the crime, do you think, because like you also said, like Asians and all these other people still have like rulership and take it from the land? So do you think the reason why they act like that is because they get a lot of resources taken from other people?
I'm not quite understanding, but I don't think there's any excuse for crime. Forgive me. I don't get that. I don't agree. I mean, because if somebody wants something to eat, typically somebody will feed you. I don't get
about want something to eat. They probably want to live like a middle class person like everybody else.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. I don't make excuses for crime. So I can't be with you on that. I mean, I can only help and do what I can do, but I can't. Guess what? There's people out there that are willing to help. There's people out there that are willing to give knowledge of how they achieve whatever they achieve. But guess what? There's still going to be people that are poor, no matter what. It is written. Everybody ain't going to be rich. Everybody ain't going to be middle class. There's going to be people that are poor, and we're supposed to help those people. I'm just saying we as in everyone.
That the reason why I was asking these questions is because let's say if I decide to move down, it will be a different ball game because again, you got your stuff together. But if I decide to move down there, I might have to live in those areas, and then
you wouldn't be allowed to move here.
It's gonna be more difficult.
Jay Prince, you think that you would live in the ghetto part of South Africa, bro? You're a rich American, man. Stop, bro.
You wouldn't.
There's requirements.
You wouldn't be.
You live in the best.
He's asking a valid question, but I know it's going too
far. Dave,
far.
do you think that if Dave? Let's be honest.
No, it's not.
Jay Prince is an
not
American.
No, he wouldn't move there, but he was asking a good question. How are the lesser?
He like his white daddy.
The lower class living. That's a very good question.
If you want low class,
hold on a second. But Dave, do you honestly believe that Jay Prince will move to Soweto to the slums? He's not moving.
But wait a minute though. Let me tell you something. Let me share something with you about Soweto.
Jay still has enough money to live nice in South Africa. I'm sorry, go ahead.
But listen, let me tell you something about Soweto. Soweto, I mean, I guess it's probably known for the informal homes or the poorer parts, but there is all classes of people that live in Soweto. There are big homes in Soweto. There are doctors, lawyers, all that live in judges, all of that lives in Soweto. It is cornered off into 3 different sections. And then there are informals also. There is people in Soweto that have wealth. Okay. And I just don't think I know for a fact people don't talk about that part, but it is. It's just not. But Jay Prince, to answer your question though, when you move to another country, and this is not just for you, it's for anybody that would be thinking about moving to another country. You move there to contribute. You don't move there to take away. So if you were to come over here and you needed a job, it would be something that you would already be well read in, like a teacher or a professor or something that you could contribute to people that are here. It wouldn't be that you're coming over here to find yourself. You kind of get what I mean? Or if they're not going to, you can't come over here and take jobs from South Africans because it doesn't work. The unemployment rate is very, very high because of some immigration or illegal immigrants that have come and taken the jobs and are willing to work for a lot less than minimum wage.
And we
So the whole thing is that in a community like you're saying, young lady, the community brings something to the table. You have to actually bring value to the community.
Yes.
But like for an example, I got a food truck, right? Mm-hmm. I can't bring my food truck over there. So even though I might start, let's say if I come over there with a lot of money.
Yes, you can,
but
Jay.
At one point, hold on, let me finish. Right. Hold on, let me finish. Right. So at one point, I'm gonna have to depend on getting a job and make money. So my hustle here in America is gonna be different than me, because you can't bring no big old food truck from America.
You gotta wait a year. She said you gotta wait a year.
Jay Prince, what she's trying to say is you have to bring value to community. You can't be on EBT and leach off other people. She's trying to say you have to bring value to the community.
She said earlier that you have to wait a year before starting the business. She said that earlier.
You have to become a citizen, Jay Prince, in order to start a business here. But you absolutely, if the market can handle or yields you profit, you can definitely start a food truck. You definitely can. You can buy the truck here. The only thing, you can do that, but you have to figure out what profits you, because understand this, the money's different. You have to figure out, if charging rand, is it going to get you, like, It takes 1,800 rand to get you $100. Get you $1, excuse me. It takes 18 rand to get $1. So you have to figure out, if I had a food truck here, but everything is less expensive. So even if you bought the food here, which you would have to, everything is less expensive. So you have to figure out, how can I make money here? You have to do the numbers to say, okay, does it make sense for me to invest in this food truck? And then if so, then you can do it, but you have to do the numbers. It's not the same as the United States. You can't come and have your prices so high that nobody can afford to buy a hot dog from you.
And that's what I'm saying. So like, eventually, let's say if I take 50,000 down there, I might be able to move in a good area, but that 50,000 going to eventually run out. So what else I'm going to do for money?
Well, it can't run out. If you're talking about becoming a citizen, your money can't run out. You have to have access to long-term money, that like pensions or dividends, or some type of money, that retirement, something has to feed you every month until you can open up your business and then start to make more money. One thing you can do, if you have $100,000 or $50,000, you can invest that in a bank here, and that $50,000 will become it's not quite 1 million rand. No, it would be something like maybe 75,000 rand or 75. $50,000 is a lot of money here, but you put it into an account, and you can say an interest-bearing account. Interest-bearing accounts over here about 8.25%. You can even, when you're older, you can get them up to 10%. So per month, you get 8.25% off your money that you invested. That could be enough money for you to live off of if it's $1,000.
Yeah, my sister, she up in Ghana. She said the only bad thing about it, like they hospitals, they don't got like the hospitals, like people, when people get sick, the mercies kind of messed up. It's not like America. And she also said, like, if you buy a house, somebody can come in, walk in, and take your house, and you got to fight for your house.
I don't know about Ghana.
I want to know.
But I've heard something. I've heard some things about Ghana's land, because I don't know. I've heard there's a lot of fraud going on with land being given to people in Ghana and things of that nature. I've heard that. I don't know. But we purchased our home here. We purchased the land that it's on, and it's ours. We have the deed to our property and everything. So that's not the case in South Africa. Now, let me tell you something that you could possibly run up on. A lot of Asians have long owned a lot of land. Okay. And they do lease back their land for 99 years. So you may own that property, the house on the land, but you may not own the land. But you can lease it from them for 99 years. If you want to invest in that, you definitely can. That was not something that we wanted to do. So we actually ended up purchasing ours, and our land came with our house. But that is something that you look for. That is something that you have to look out for. I'm just telling you that it is.
SBU, back on the migrant issue, it seems that South Africa is very protective of their nationals. In saying that, the national South Africans, do they have conflict with, people like the migrant Nigerians from, some friends of mine? Okay. Have you seen that firsthand? Like any conflicts?
Yeah, wow. They listen, the Zimbabweans, it's like you fighting your cousins. Yeah, they have a big problem with it. Very, very large problem, because they say that the migrants or the illegal are taking all the jobs. So South Africans are not being able to work because they're coming across the border from different places. And they're taking all the jobs, and they're willing to work for a minimal amount of money.
So is that social structure very divided?
I'm sorry, say that once more.
Like, is it very divided over there? Like, hey, you're from a Nigerian group or Zimbabwean, and we don't mess with you. We don't rock with you. Yes. Wow. Yes,
they call it out. Everybody's calling everybody lazy. You're lazy. You a lazy South African. You a lazy Zimbabwean.
I know. There's funny. One thing, SBU. No white man to blame.